Welcome, Leo, to your monthly horoscope for September for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. You can chat with me directly on Twitter at Horoscope Ace, or join Elisa and I for the daily astrology and tarot video show. Please see the link below. You can grab your free daily horoscope written and also hear the dominant astrological influence for that day and Elisa's more spiritual perspective. Now, this month begins with the Sun and Mercury in your sector of resources, but the energy that came from the new moon in your sign on the 19th of August pours its way into the first half of this month too. And that was all about initiation, action, and being quite single-minded, but it may have required you to change some of the fundamentals that you've depended upon, the structures that have been in place for quite some time, and therefore there may have been some stresses and strains that have flowed on from that. But essentially, the Sun and Mercury are asking you at the start of this month to think about your resources. But by the 2nd, we have a full moon in the dreamy sign of Pisces. But this full moon axis comes into conflict with Uranus, the planet of surprises, which is shaking up your role in life and has been increasingly since 2018. Now, I feel it's possible that there could be an expense that comes up for you over the next couple of weeks, but equally you may decide to splash out on something that you feel is really important to your progress. So if you're investing in something, potentially a business idea, this can be a really important time to think and to apply any tactics you've been developing. So don't see this full moon as being an entire challenge. There could be some need to realign your ins and outs goings, but that's true for all of us with COVID pretty well. Now, on the 5th, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves out of Virgo and into Libra, but that's lovely for you. It sees us speeding up, your mind stepping up a gear. You may think very seriously about some technology, some new hardware or software over the next few weeks, or you may even be thinking about your mode of transport with this transit. But the most critical moment of this month perhaps occurs on the 6th, because glorious Venus arrives in your sign. She's going to be here right through this month, and this gives you an opportunity to feel so much more yourself when it comes to your personal appearance. Now, if you've been denied an opportunity to go and have a haircut or a manicure or to buy some clothes, the chances are you're going to want to indulge now, because giving yourself some kind of glamorous makeover can be very reinforcing to your sense of self. You may want to luxuriate with some kind of therapeutic treatment as well. If that's possible, that can be very attractive to you. Now, romantically, Venus moving into your sign is going to see the potential for new admirers making a pathway to your front door, proverbially or actually, over the next months. So this is an opportunity to be really excited about your drawing power. Just be aware with Venus in our own sign that there may be more than one person who shows an interest. But in an existing relationship, if you have gone through a period of uncertainty, this moves you more into the here and now. You can feel more optimistic, essentially. Now, on the 9th, we do have a major event. Mars, the planet of drive, of passion, is in a very adventurous part of your scope and will be through to the 6th of January next year. But that, I've got to be honest with you, is in a very wearing right angle with Saturn right throughout this month. And if there is something that you want to liberate yourself from and you can't, it could really oppress you. So I think Mars going into a retrograde suggests that things may be slowing down a little bit about how you can create some kind of escape from a drudgery which has been grinding you down, really for quite some months, to be honest. The dust up between the 6th and the 9th houses of your situation really goes back some years indeed. So there may be something that needs to give, and that may mean that there's some compromises. So even if you want to give up some obligations and responsibilities to create more personal freedom, there may be some that you do have to still keep going with. Just try to be philosophical about that. Now, there is a quarter moon on the 10th, which provides a backdrop of energy for the following week. Now, for you, this occurs in a part of your horoscope that's to do with friendships and interactions with others. If there is somebody in your circle that you've started to notice a bit of a drifting apart, this could become accentuated. And perhaps the core reason why this drift may be occurring is that you both have different values which are becoming more obvious. There could also be some kind of disagreement around a group, around a financial matter. This is not a great time to get involved in a get-rich-quick scheme, that's for sure, or to be too reliant on a friend's influence when it comes to your resources. Now, on the 13th, Jupiter ends a retrograde, which has gone on for 4 months. Jupiter retrogrades can really slow things down. And if you have felt a bit sluggish around your health, you haven't felt as lively and as energized as you would like, Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto all being in your 6th house of well-being could well be the reason why. So Jupiter going forwards is going to give you more spark, more sense of optimism and of possibilities. Now, from the 18th to the 23rd, that gliding Mercury in Libra is going to be clashing with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, and that can create some nervous tension. If something isn't quite shifting as you would like, it can feel a bit oppressive, and some early nights can help ward off the influence of this square. But also be conscious of anyone around your situation who tends to be a nitpicker, the type of person who's always getting into the detail of pointing out why something isn't quite right. Or are you doing that to yourself? If that is the case, try to stop your hand from, grab your hand and stop yourself criticizing yourself too much. Some self-love and just understanding that this is a trying time for many of us is going to be important to deal with that particular transition. However, on the 17th, there's a terrific new moon in the sign of Virgo, which links in very positively to Saturn. So if you can be very astute, precise, grounded, and keep your resources very much in balance, you could put some foundations in place which deal with this new reality and give you a greater sense of security, and that can flow right through to the middle of October. The 22nd is a critical point in the astrological year because it is the autumn equinox and the sun arrives gloriously in the sign of Libra. So we're halfway through the astrological journey, but for you, this is very much about a pickup in energy, a vitality. Mercury's already been helping you in that regard, but very much about your thinking. This is going to give you more physical vitality. But there is a quarter moon on the 24th, and again, spreading yourself too thinly and not prioritising what's important could leave you feeling a bit frayed at the edges. So perhaps part of what this month is about for you, Leo, more than anything else, is setting your priorities. And I think with Venus in your sign, you need to feel loved and adored. So if you're pouring your energies into a situation which is keeping other people happy too much, you need to tell them to take more responsibility. And that means shifting some of the responsibility off you, but don't feel guilty about it. Now, the 27th sees Mercury move into Scorpio. If there is something to really mull over of a deeply personal nature, you're going to do it in the following 3 weeks. But the 29th sees Saturn end its retrograde. It's something we can all trumpet and celebrate, because Saturn retrogrades are probably one of the toughest of all. Now, from here on in, Saturn is heading back towards its occupation of Aquarius, which will start again on the 17th of December, and then it's going to come together in a conjunction with Jupiter on the winter solstice, and that's going to give you a fabulous opportunity to think about key relationships that particular phase. But for now, it's asking you to really enjoy the opportunity to interact with others, to refresh your thinking. A lot of our conditioning and our ideas come from when we're very tiny, and I think the more I get into astrology and work as a practitioner helping people with their natal astrology, it becomes more and more marked how those messages, which in therapy they can call mother's little messages, but just as easily they are father's messages. And if you have got some set ideas on life which don't seem to be really relevant to what's going on around you, because obviously the world has changed at such a pace, and then we've got COVID on top, which is an enormous strain, this would be a good time, with the Sun being in the sign of Libra, to just examine what some of your ideas are based upon. If they need updating, and some old ones need jettison because they're no longer relevant for here and now, don't be hung up about this. Someone could come into your world as this month draws to a close who could be a very uplifting influence to you in terms of your ideas. But I think generally, Venus being in your sign from the 6th is something to really, really enjoy. If you would like to ascend above your zodiac sign and embrace more serious astrology, check out my affordable range of personal horoscope reports. There's 30% off a year's forecast and character analysis. Please see the link below, or you can choose to have a one-to-one with me. Please see my testimonials. But for now, stay safe, take care, good luck, and goodbye.